Welcome to Soul and Synergy Radio. Soul and Synergy Radio is dedicated to exploring the mysteries of the universe and our place in it. Your hosts, Terry and Danny, are the owners of Soul and Synergy LLC, based in Eau Claire, Wisconsin. Each week, they will be delving into topics that are part of the metaphysical and paranormal world, along with spiritual practices that help us connect with our higher selves and tap into the energy of the cosmos. The show will feature interviews with members of the metaphysical and paranormal community, sharing their knowledge and insights with their listeners. Whether you're new to this world or an experienced seeker, Soul and Synergy has something for everyone. Now, your hosts, Terry Flick and Danny Loosemore.
Good morning, everyone.
And here we are again, another Friday. Good morning.
Happy Friday. Welcome to Soul and Synergy Radio here on WLTK-DB Talk Radio. We have some interesting topics for today. But first, I'm going to hand it over to my wonderful partner in crime to talk about what's going on here at the store.
Well, let's see what is going on. So, we're trying to get ourselves together so we can head out this afternoon for Wausau. We're doing the Wausau Psychic and Wellness Fair tomorrow over there. We've got some pretty cool vendors coming in over there. We have Christina's going to be there. Diet's going to be there. Danielle Young, she'll be doing speaking paranormal. Who all is? David can't join us this time. Anyways, so it ought to be a really cool thing. But what else we got coming up? So that wraps up our July. Wow, August is here already.
Yeah, I can hardly believe it.
Yeah, so then we are going to do August 12th, we'll be in Rochester. And August 13th, I'm testing my husband's ability to stay afloat on a what do you call it, a riverboat?
I'll be wearing a life preserver the entire time.
So it is called, and it is really a cool event. I did it a few years ago with Christina. What is it called? I wish I would have brought it up. I had it here. Let's look. Because I want to give them a shout out. So this is our friends up in Stillwater. It is Lisa and Bob Green. They own Island Time Spa in Stillwater. She's a massage therapist, does Reiki. And the event that we're going to participate in is called Healing on the Water. It's actually pretty cool. It is, she's going to do a little event during the morning from 9 to 1, meet the vendors. They're going to do little healings and stuff from 9 to 1. And then at 2 o'clock to 6 p.m., so 4 hours, we're going to load on the paddle boat at the St. Croix River. It is a $60 charge, I believe it is, to be on that. And then it's all full of readers and healers and stuff and little merchandise for 4 hours. So yeah, it's a pretty cool thing. It's going to be a lot of fun. So, but and then what else happens after that? So I'm trying to do a couple more things, but then we are in Sault Ste. Marie on August 26th and 27th. Seems like it's 3 days, but I don't know. My days go one night after another. But we're going to be vendors at the Michigan Paracon. It is the 13th year there. Hopefully, we see some of our friends there. Miss Melanie will be joining us up there along with Craig. So if anybody wants to meet Melanie in person, come on over. But yeah, and then we go into September, which truly is not that far away either. So
No.
So September, Stevens Point, we're back on September 9th. And then it is our yearly event up in Ashland, the 16th and 17th for that weekend. And then we do Great Lakes Paranormal the 23rd and 24th. And that is in Glen Beulah, Wisconsin. So that is in a haunted school we're going to be vending at. So ought to be fun there.
Haunted school.
as he's learning about all the things we're doing right now.
I don't know about you because, oh, Lord.
Well, it's just 2 days. And,
Just 2 days.
We can make it work.
Okay.
We just have to find some place to stay those 2 nights.
Yeah, I know.
I'm guessing there's not a motel in Glen Beulah, but who knows? We'll figure it out. Maybe we'll have a camper by then. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? But what was I going to say?
Oh, cool. Lee's going to be in Glen Beulah with it, so we'll get to meet and talk with her.
What'd you say?
No, I don't sing Proud Mary, but that's a really cool song, and it'll probably be in my head the rest of the day. Thanks, Lee.
Oh, you're reading the comments. Okay, I see what you're doing.
Reading the comments. Yeah.
I'm getting used to this new camera on this new computer, so I don't know. It's a little bit different.
Yeah. What else was I going to say? Otherwise, yep, our retail store is online, soulandsynergyretail.com. Our website's going through some changes. So if anybody's on our website looking for stuff, it might take a little bit of a day or two for things to come back around. But yeah.
On July 30th, our website will shift over to a new provider. And it may take a day for it to know where to go. So we might be down for a day, but it's going to be transferred over to Google actually. And we're going to be running things from there. It's really easy to use that software, so it's going to be a nice change for us. Although Terry has some change anxiety.
Gosh, do I ever? Yeah, I'm looking at trying to build in this new website, and it's like, oh gosh, yeah. So I'm going to need a tutorial.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
So on to our topic of the day.
Our topic.
Our topic is discovering your gifts. And now this is something that we do approach in some of our classes, particularly with the Finding Your Path classes. And really it's trying to figure out where do you fit in the spectrum of this metaphysical world that we're in. Are you starting to develop your gifts of foresight? Are you starting to develop your gifts of divination? What are the things that are kind of popping up in your world? So discovering your gifts is a really good kind of way to find out what you should focus on and what you should look for. And Finding Your Path is a great way of kind of going through that and seeing, if I go through even the Claire's class, going through and seeing which one works the best for you. And generally that's the one that you should probably focus on. So as far as us personally, I know for me, discovering my gift was more so what I gravitated towards, such as using the tarot cards and such. And that really for me was kind of the way to go. Because your gifts are what comes easiest to you. It may seem as though, you want to master it right away, or you want to, jump to the finish line right away. But it takes years to really kind of hone in on that energy and how to use it and all of that. And but like for me, it took quite a while to, how do I want to say it? Grab onto that energy to know exactly how to use it and how to move it where I needed to move it to get things done.
I agree. So for me, let's talk about Claire's. Let's just go through those a little bit, because those are actually, in my opinion, when we do a Claire's class here, I do a 2-hour and we go over all the Claire's. And there's 8 of them, so it takes us I think we usually run about 3 hours for the class, but I schedule 2. And then I'll break it down. Then we'll do a 4-week, 4 classes one every 2 weeks. And I'll take 2 of them and we'll go through them and we'll talk about them and we'll practice with them. And then we do readings with them. And we work, each student works back and forth and learns how to do a reading. So it's really, this last go around has been really cool. We've had some really good readings and we found out, and this is how we find your gifts. And this is, which one works the best for you. So, it's like Rebecca can hold something. And we found this out during Claire's class. She can hold something. Actually, I think we found this out during Energy 101 because everything has energy. So I pull things out of different areas and I gave her a piece of wood to hold on to. And she could tell me pretty much what trees it came from, what type of trees it came from, where it came from. And she was spot on. It was a piece of wood that we had picked up when we went to the Redwoods. So, yeah, so Claire's are very important to learning what your gifts are. So.
Yeah, so why don't we go through some of those Clairs to see, what one might resonate with some of you. And for those of you in the audience, you can give us a little bit of your story of how you came into your gifts or what you're trying to do to find them.
Yeah. So the eight Clairs are clairvoyance, of course, clairseeing, claircognizance is clear knowing, clairaudience, of course, is clear hearing, clear empathy, which, probably 50% of us have at least on a regular basis. So your clear emotional feeling, clear sentience, your clear physical feeling, and that is, feeling things within your body from somebody else. So like, me feeling Danny's headache or whatever the case may be. But clear tangience is clear touching. So that is the one where you hold something, right?
Yeah, that's also called psychometry.
Psychometry, yep. And clear salience is clear smelling, and clear gustiance is clear tasting. So, like I get into readings and stuff, and I'll get this metal taste in my mouth and stuff, and it tells me that whoever I'm working with probably is going through chemo or had chemo at one time, or whatever the case may be. Or, I've tasted black licorice. Was a big one when I first started out. We were at an event up in Ashland, and I could smell and taste black licorice. And I literally, I wanted to walk the room and find out who this belonged to, because we didn't have any. And I didn't have any in our space, and I wasn't eating it and stuff. So it had to truly be the spirit coming through or something coming through with that. So
what kind of exercises can you do? Like if we start with the first clairvoyance, what kind of things can you do to see if that's your gift or not?
So one of the things with clairvoyance is looking at pictures. Just, going through looking at pictures and looking at them over and over and over again and seeing if they resonate with you. And then, it's hard to explain, but what I do is I let you, and then we go into a little meditation, and then I have you close your eyes and tune into me or someone else and just see the story behind it. Does that make sense?
I mean, isn't that something you could also kind of use those flashcards that we have?
Yeah.
With the different shapes on them to see,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Just something that starts getting those pictures going in your head. So, and then it tells, I think what it really does is help the subconscious just to let go of everything else, because sometimes our subconscious goes, oh, no, that means nothing. It's just a random picture, blah, blah, blah. And what we're trying to do is just work on, it's okay. It doesn't matter if it's a random picture or not. I just still want to see it. So, yeah. And then what was the next one we want to talk about? Oh, claircognizance.
Yeah, that's
clear knowing.
That's the clear knowing. So what kind of exercises could we go through for that?
That's a good one. I didn't really do any exercises with that one. I think that's just like I think that's an ego thing. You have to trust in what you get, right?
Well, I think for that part, I think you could call kind of divination is claircognizance, where you're using tools to see what's going on today, yesterday, and tomorrow, and it's having a clear knowing of what's coming and what happened and what's happening today. So I would think that, like we kind of do or have done in our divination lab, is do a reading for someone as a group,
Yeah.
and we record that reading and send it off to that person who probably has no idea that we did it for them, and send it to them to see what they think. And that's kind of a clear knowing, or just a knowing of what's going on with them, and all that, using those tools. And a lot of times we as our human brains need to have tools to do things versus just allowing ourselves just to start talking and saying what's going on tomorrow or today. And I think we really kind of advance when the mind says, "Oh, I don't need tools anymore. I can just do this because it's just something I can do." And it's getting to that comfort level and acceptance and getting rid of doubt that really makes a big difference.
Yeah, and I guess you could go through our tools of divination. If like when you're doing tarot, I watch you do tarot. I watch you do it, and you keep telling me you don't make connections, da 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 da. But I don't believe a word you're saying right there. Because I watch you, and like up in when we did Art on the Edge last weekend, and I was watching you do readings. You're looking at the card, but you're not in there. I mean, your head's tilted down, but we just say like the cards are for the people that are being read, so they have something to concentrate on while you're talking. So,
it eventually gets that way where
yeah,
the customer likes to have some flash and some show, and the cards are there to give them something to anchor on, as to watch as what you're doing while you're talking. And I still use the themes of the cards as I'm talking, going through, but I just say whatever's coming to mind. I don't doubt what I say or anything like that. I just say it.
right.
Those are when the messages come through, is when you get out of your own way and just say what's ever passing through your mind at the time.
Yeah, and I think that's that's you're turning tarot into a reading, a psychic reading.
Yeah, pretty much.
So
That's really why I was trying to get off the ground the tarot gallery, where it's just like a gallery like you had with Kathy Drinkman.
Yep.
And you're going through the audience and picking out people that are kind of lighting up for you to talk to. I really wanted to try that out with the cards, and just say, here I have my first three, and this is what's popping up, and I think it belongs to you, and just start going.
Yeah, we should try that again.
Yeah, I really would like to, because it's a different way to go about it, a different method, and I think it would be kind of popular if people would give it a chance. But
Yeah.
I guess we'll see. Melanie says, I like using the cards to just have it guide the conversation. And yeah, it can kind of move things around and give you a focus, I guess.
Yeah.
Be, that kind of a thing. Hi, Vanessa. Welcome to the show. I just saw you pop in. Yeah, so, and what's the next one? It's Claire.
So we are at, yes, I'm cheating. I'm using Clear Audience. I'm actually using my my presentation from our class to go through it. So
Yay! So Claire Audience is the ability to hear.
Yeah. So if you're clairaudient, you're able to perceive sound, words, or noise from the spiritual or your etheric realm. Per se, the other night, I had to spend a night at my mom's house when she fell on Tuesday night. And I'm laying there, of course, not sleeping well because I'm trying to sleep on a love seat. And I can hear these noises. And I'm thinking to myself, it's muffled, so it's got to be coming from the apartments next door. And then I know the neighbors and stuff, and it wasn't. And it just, I could tell somebody's trying to come through, but I'm laying there and I'm so exhausted and I'm trying to get some rest. But I'm hearing it from outside, not in my head this time. And it's got to be coming from the etheric side or from the spiritual side. But yeah, and I get those occasionally as well. So the other one is you may receive your intuitive information with your inner and outer hearing. So sometimes you hear it in the head, sometimes you hear it outside the head. Example, that if you're driving to work and suddenly hear take the next exit, anybody had that? Or there's no one in the vehicle with you, right? You're all alone and you hear take the next exit or turn left here or whatever. Those are the things that we're talking about, clairaudience or clear hearing. So just remember to pay attention to those things, because those are like guide stuff. And they're like, gosh, if you don't turn left and all of a sudden you drive another mile down the road, there's this big car accident and now you're setting, or whatever the case may be, the road's blocked. So those are guidance as well. So working on things like that. And they talk about music, and just low enough that you can barely hear it, right? So you're kind of almost straining to hear what's going on, is a good way to open up that sense so it goes further instead of right here around you. It leaves your energy bubble, so to speak. So that's one that we use to practice with. The other one I like doing with that is just having like a silent room, a black room. Turn all the lights off, turn all the music off, all the noise, and just set. And see if you can hear, for us, it'd be like the traffic on highway out here on Claremont or stuff like that. Just those little noises that are coming in, and working on identifying what those noises are. So it helps to enlarge the hearing area, so to speak, and allows the hearing to go further. So then we go to clair empathy. Clair empathy. And
That's one I don't like.
Yeah, I like it and I don't like it. I need it. I need it for when I do Reiki sessions and things like that. It makes me aware of what's going on within the client's body. I don't like feeling their pain sometimes. Sometimes it really hurts, and But then again, if you are the clair, if you have clair empathy, then it's time to work with your guides and go, okay, I got that. Can we let that pain go? So then they can remove that from you, or talk about it right away. So once you talk about these things, you can usually release them out. They usually just go right away. So, but simple things are, if you sense other people's emotions, thoughts, and symptoms, it is the awareness or perception of emotional energy, right? So if you ever walk into a room after a couple was arguing and sense the anger and hurt in the room, so the difference between clairempathy and clairsentience is that empaths sense the emotion, whereas sentients experience the emotion. Empaths sense the energy, but sentience feels the energy.
Well, the real challenge is knowing if it's yours or not. And, is this something that you're feeling or someone else is feeling? And it kind of causes confusion.
Yeah, and it does. And it does. And so how I work with that is I ask my guides to work with me. And if it's not mine, I'll say it like 3 times. Three is truth, right? So I'll say it like 3 times, and if it goes away, I know it's not mine.
Mm-hmm.
If like when I talk about it and I get to the talk about it to the client and stuff, and if it still doesn't go away, then I ask to take it away. Otherwise, yeah. So that's how I work with it.
Yeah. I just I don't know, have a hard time when something's coming through, and it's like, is this from the person that's sitting next to me? Is it mine? Why is my mind kind of going through and trying to figure out, is it mine or not? And it just causes problems. And people who are really good at it are able just to say, no, not mine, go away, and it goes away.
Yeah. It's practice, though. It is practice. It is, and it is using your guides, and it's using all the gifts that you can pull together, all the things that you can pull together. Like Courtney says, acknowledgement is a big deal. So
Yeah.
But that's probably the worst and the best.
Yeah.
Right. To be a good healer, clear empathy is a gift you need. Especially if you're working like I do a lot of the physical work, body work, whatever, working on aches and pains and helping clients to feel better physically as well as spiritually and emotionally.
Right.
And then, of course, the clear sentience. So clear physical feeling, right? So a clear sentient obtains intuitive insights by way of a physical experience in their body. If you have a gut feeling or something doesn't feel right and you experience it viscerally as a physical sensation in your body, happens a lot, right? So feeling the experience of other people's emotions, ailments, or injuries. That's a big one.
Mm-hmm.
And again, this is feeling the physical part. So, for this one, I use like when I'm working on somebody and I okay, my back is really hurting. Is this your back? What did you do to your back? Or, different things within the body. So that's how I work on that one or use that one. But I haven't really. So this one I would. I'm not sure how to practice this one.
You mean about feeling someone else's stuff?
Their physical feelings, yeah.
Well, I know for me, because I do this, it just happens, and it's like I got to control it somehow. And I'll be sitting next to someone, and then I feel like I'm them. It's like if I were sitting inside of their energy or their body or whatever, and I just sit there and I feel like they would feel, and then I would start feeling their whatever's going on with them, and it's hard to like pull yourself out of that to remember what you feel like. But it is something that is kind of an interesting experience, and you could even say or think to yourself as you're touching someone and saying, show me on me where things are hurting, and then you can use yourself as kind of like an avatar to fix it. So if you feel pain in your knee and it's not yours, you make the pain in your knee disappear in hopes that it disappears in theirs. And it's a kind of a good way to know that things are working, because if it's working through you, it should be working through them too.
Well, and that's a type of distant healing, but even though you're only a few feet apart, right?
Right.
While you're talking, I'm visualizing quieting my mind and scanning your body for practice.
Yeah.
So I'm scanning a person's body, and with the intention, of course, I said intention, that I physically want to feel what they're feeling, and then start scanning the body and see how that works.
Right.
So then let's do one more before we go to break.
Okay.
Clear tangency. So clear tangency or clear touching. So if you have the ability to perceive facts about an object or person by contact with proximity to the object or person. So that was, what did you call that? Psychometry?
Psychometry, yeah.
Yeah, so this is psychometry. So this one's a nice one and fun one to practice. So, you just go to an antique store and walk through the antique store and start holding objects and see what visions you're getting. That's a good one. But for confirmation type stuff is where I bring things out, or people can bring things to the class, or whatever the case may be, and we share holding them and see what people get. We don't talk about it out loud. We write it down. So each person has their own list of like object number 1, object number 2, whatever the case may be.
Right.
And, that's a good way to practice clear touching. So,
Okay.
I was just watching Devil's Perch the other night, and Wednesday night you had the divination lab.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Wednesday I was watching Devil's Perch, and I was watching the lady on there do psychometry on buildings. It was pretty cool. So when you can get it to work, it works really fun. So
yeah.
All right, shall we take a quick intermission?
Yeah, we're at the bottom of the hour. Let's take a break here, and we'll be back with Discovering Your Gifts.
If you're a fan of the paranormal world, then you'll love WLTK-DB Talk Radio. Talk shows bringing you the latest on everything paranormal, cryptozoological, metaphysical, true crime, psychic readings, and more. The truth is here and now on WLTK-DB Talk Radio at WLTKDB.com.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Soul and Synergy Radio with Danny and Terry.
Hey! Hey! So I just want to say before we go further, good morning to Courtney, and who else did we miss? I think Courtney was last.
Yeah, Courtney, you were kind of MIA the last radio show. Glad to see you back.
All right. So, Lee gave us a campground. They have cabins. I got to write that down real quick.
Oh, Plymouth Rock.
Yeah. And where'd it go? Okay, I will give them a call. Thank you so much. All right, so we are at Clear Salons. I can't even talk today. So Clear Smelling. So for those with Clear Salons, insight into the perception of smell, such as smelling a fragrance or odor of a substance, person, place, or animal that is not in your immediate surroundings. If you're doing readings or doing energy work or whatever the case may be, I just say talk about what you get. Always talk about what you get. So, it is a thing. It is. You just have to talk about it. Like if you smell lilac and it was a perfume that your grandmother wore, or if it's yours, then it gives you that, oh my gosh, grandma's with me all the time, or oh, grandma's here today, or what would be a thing? I keep like cigar smoke.
Yeah, cigars.
Yeah, back in the day, grandpa's smoked cigars or whatever the case may be, and those are the things that tell us our people are with us from the other side as well. So, experiencing sense might trigger the other senses to see, hear, or smell what a spirit is trying to communicate. So they don't always work alone, of course. A couple things on the checklist. A smell can bring back the memory of a living person or a situation that you'd forgotten about on a conscious level. So, music does that, right? we'll be listening to a song and go, oh, remember when we're somewhere and we heard this music, or our wedding song always brings us back to, right? So, what's the other ones? Oh, you're drawn to essential oils because soothing smells can bring on a deep relaxation, ease muscle tension, and alleviate stress. So, some people smell danger. People who do this kind of thing may choose to be a florist, aromatherapist, or a perfume fragrance creator, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, noticing that the smells take you from one level to another. And we've used this in readings as well. So, I smell this, or I feel this, or I hear this, or whatever the case may be. So, out of all 8 of these clairs, at any given time, I can use any 8 of them, or multiples, or them as groups. So, tasting. So, clairgustance, clear tasting. This is where you receive physical information through your sense of taste without having any physical source of that taste in your mouth. So, like the black licorice. I've tasted whiskey without drinking whiskey, which has, it's a way of making confirmation of who you're getting. Like that. So sometimes when you're problem solving, you may receive helpful information through an extrasensory taste in your mouth. For instance, police detectives investigating crimes sometimes get an unexplained taste in their mouth, such as blood or a certain chemical that relates to a specific type of drug. So, yeah, there's that. There's a checklist. It's on my checklist that goes, you can taste the mood of the person preparing your food. That one I don't want to know about. You can taste reminders of deceased loved ones, such as smoke, sweetness, etc., out of nowhere. Like, wow, sugar cookies. Tasting sugar cookies and knowing that they taste exactly like how your grandma. Things like that. I don't know why roast. And then we are at. Did I skip something?
I don't know.
I must have, because that's at the bottom. And let me go over here.
Well, I think your gifts can be other things too, and with anything being possible out there, talking to spirit or divining things or seeing the history of something when you touch it. I mean, those are all good things or great ways to start. But there's other things too. I mean, there's like connecting to, what is that?
That's thunder.
I was wondering if that was thunder.
Yeah, we just got a storm warning here in Eau Claire. So if we lose, I'll lose you guys. That's what's going on.
Oh.
It is a severe thunderstorm warning going right over the top of us.
I thought someone was moving furniture or something.
Yep. Hey, Steph. Good morning.
But there's some things like, connecting to the earth and knowing what's going on in nature around you. Mm-hmm. Being able to throw out energy out there to call a butterfly in and have a butterfly come through. I mean, all those little things that seem like so outrageous, like how in the hell would that work?
Yeah.
Try it. There's no harm in trying these things,
and
to see what your limits are.
And don't worry about if you're wrong. It doesn't matter if you're wrong. At least you're doing it. Put your hand on a tree and ask it to tell you a story. And then let your mind go blank and see what the story reads.
Right.
It's simple, fun stuff to do.
And I know for myself, when I felt like someone needed some help and or I wanted someone to be watched over, I went up to one of the trees because all the trees are connected. through the root systems and through the mycelium in the soil, and they're all kind of connected and signaling each other at all the time. So I connected with a tree in the yard, and I said, please watch over who I was trying to help, and just sending it through their communication system to the trees around that person, and hoping that that would bring them some help. It's the intention behind it. It's what you're trying to accomplish, and it makes a lot of sense.
And I truly believe that everything should be done with intention.
Yeah.
So it's kind of our crazy thing what we do. Like we left the house this morning, and in my mind I put a dragon on top of the house to keep our property protected while we're gone for the next 24 hours.
Well, then just keep in mind company then too.
Yeah. See, we both do it. So these are really cool things, and they just let the imagination go a little bit. And it's some people say, well, it's all in your head. Well, of course it's in your head. It has to be in your head, because that's how your brain receives, right? So whether it's
I would like to know if anybody's willing to share some of the craziest things you've tried to do.
Oh,
I still try to light the sage on our altar in the living room, just by thinking about it. And Terry has to look at me and go, "Stop trying. It isn't going to work.
Just do it." Yeah.
Just let it happen, kind of a thing. And those little crazy little things, like just sitting there when you're bored, and kind of see if you can make a pencil move on your desk. Nothing. There's no harm in it. There's not
at all.
It's just something fun to try.
I find it very interesting that I can change the energy of a room. I can, we're doing energy class and stuff, and when we work on feeling with what's going on around us, and I can walk around the room. They're sitting there in their chairs with their eyes closed, and I can walk around the room and I can change the energy. I bring argon in to make it heavy. I do this to that, make it light, make it whatever is going on. But I can't move a pencil across the damn table. So I have not been able to do that yet. So we'll see how that works. But
Stephanie says she's tried to float.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah. Hovering a little bit,
Yeah, doing a little levitation.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I was talking to a lady Monday night, and she was telling me stories of her mom, and I think she said her sister was. This lady was hilarious and amazing at the same time. So we were talking. She came for the sound bath, and that was actually the night we were doing Finding Your Path. And she said, I don't want nothing to do with that. I don't want to hear nothing from anybody. And then she went into telling me stories about how her mom would make furniture levitate in the house. And her mom would do this, and her mom would do that. And I'm like, but you don't want to. I mean, did it scare you? And she said, well, no. And then I said, well, why don't you want to play in that realm? I think that would be amazing to do,
Yeah.
But
Lee says that she could fly in her dreams.
Yeah. Well, take it outside your dream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This camera on this new computer is way too close to me.
Is it?
Yeah, just a little bit too close.
Oh yeah, your head's getting big.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I just believe that anybody, and truthfully, these are fun things to do. You don't have to go out and be a reader or do fairs or do readings for anybody. Just have fun with them for yourself, even, or your little family group or your tribe, and just play with these things. They're fun.
I mean, even like if you want to hear from someone, call out to them in your mind and touch them in some way and say, hey, I need to hear from you.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Courtney says you look great.
Oh, why? Thank you, Courtney. So I think trying anything and everything is is a good thing to do. It's not, doesn't mean you're crazy. It doesn't mean you're acting nutty or anything like that. It just means you're how do I say it? Being adventurous with your mind, and challenging yourself, but just don't obsess about it. I mean, if it becomes an obsession, then of course that's not always a good thing. But just having fun with it is the best way to go.
Right. Oh gosh, if it's not fun, it's work, and who wants to work? So right.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So
right.
what?
I just was making like, and then I go back to look what we do in a day. Of all the stuff we do here in a day, and working on the show and working on the fairs and working on the store, and yep.
Mm-hmm. Stephanie says, "How do you keep it safe and in the light?" Oh, I need more context. I don't remember. You can give me some. Oh, just keep your bubble big is what she says. Vanessa says, "I practice healing my old dog. He's 13 and has joy issues." Oh, Stephanie, I see what you mean. Where you're trying things that you don't know if it's a little suspect, probably. If I think for me, if you're trying to use your energy for self-improvement or for fun, and the energy isn't meant to I don't know, hurt anyone or get anyone's way, I think that's the best way to go, because with the energy you could go the other route. It's very easy to go down the line of, oh, look what I can do, and just kind of go, kind of a thing. And if you think about it and you go, would I like that to be done to me? And you say no, then it's probably a good idea not to do it.
Well, yeah. And Steph's Reiki, she understands, protection. And I mean, I'm not just saying Reiki people do, but it is when you go to start playing in these things, like every morning, you're right, you put your bubble on, you ask for protection and all the stuff. I think when one of the things that she's talking about is like when we're tapping into things that we're not sure about.
Yeah.
So set the intention that I only can work with things of white light and love, or things that won't harm me, or whatever the case may be, and have a conversation with your guides and say, hey, this is what I'm going to work with, and I don't want anything else. So they keep everything else out. So.
Right. So I think that's it's good to create a framework for what you feel your energy can be used for. Almost like a set of rules or something like that. Because when you realize that you can manipulate energy and kind of have it do what you want it to do, it's very easy to say, well, I want that, so I'm grabbing it, kind of a thing. And for some people, it's within their conscience, and they say, oh, I can do that. That's no problem. I don't care. And then there's other people who are overly critical of their conscience. And they're even to the point of, well, I don't deserve that, kind of a thing. And you need to get out of that mindset of not deserving, of course. But, we're here to have fun and make ourselves happy and enjoy the ride. So doing the things that we want to do to make that happen is perfectly acceptable. It's just,
Like, okay, I get it.
No, so I'm saying it more for the other people in the audience,
Yeah, as well, yeah. But. So I want to go to this one with Lee. So my best friend's mom was having a bad Charlie horse. I tried to help by sending healing energy as I was rubbing it out, asking guides to help. It did feel better, but I am not sure if my attempt worked like it should. So, scolding, right? Just know it did. Just know it did. Don't worry about if it didn't. Just know it did, because that's how energy works. That's how our intentions work. When we start doubting it is when things don't work as well. So, in your mind, just know it did. and let it
And
be.
that's the purpose of having the statement, and it is done.
And it is done. Yeah.
Then you move on from it.
And
It's
so
kind
it
of
is.
like having an agenda for a meeting, and after you get done with that agenda item, you don't think about it again because you've already gone through it,
Right.
and you just kind of think about, oh, we're past that point now. Let's move on to the next thing, and it really works
Yeah.
when you get it nailed down.
Yeah. When I go like into a healing session, and do I ask, do they feel better? Yes, I do, because I want them to tune into what's going on so they know what's going on. But in my mind, it is done.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't go back to it unless I'm called back to it. So yeah. And I move on to the next thing. So that's our as it would be called, our ego that makes us create doubt, right?
Yeah, because the ego's been taught for so long that this is a bunch of hooey.
Right.
So
I don't like ego. I don't like doubt. And I know we're human, and I know things come through, but it is a thing that can be worked through. So
right.
saying I don't have doubt, I'm just knowing that I have less and less every day. So
right. And me too. As it's getting to the point where it's just like I can create the perfect ride, and the perfect experience, and it really is working.
Right. For sure. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know that.
Oh, now you're starting to channel again.
Well, I don't know. I'm just trying to find words. But words. There's the key right there, right? So we talk about in words what we don't say, right? So trying. We keep using that word trying. I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to do that. I correct people all the time, and I know it still slips through on my end. I'm not able to. I can't. All those words, words are powerful. Words are spells, so on and so forth. Pay attention to those words. Even if you haven't completely succeeded on something, it's not you're trying, it is you are working on. See how upriver that is? Or downriver that is. I had to go I had to go over to our friend Abraham for a second. So yeah. So I'm feeling how that feels and using the words that are more downriver, more flow.
Yeah. Say I am doing this. It's working wonderfully, and
right. It is. Going downriver is so much easier than fighting upriver. So, and just I am doing it, even if it's not completed.
It's just interesting how much you have to go through the mental Olympics to get your brain to comply with the reality that you want.
Yeah.
And to let it know that, yes, you do deserve this. And yes, you deserve good things. And you're able to do this because it's your right to do this. And you don't need permission from anyone. That's the thing the brain wants the most is permission to do something. I don't know how we ever got trained to do that. It's just weird because I've even had some otherworldly voices come through and say, yeah, you can do that. That's fine. And then all of a sudden it happens. And it's just like, but my brain must need that permission in some way to make some things happen. And it's like, no, I can give myself permission. Thank you. But I appreciate your help.
Yeah.
I think if anything, it's trying to teach us that just do it.
Yeah.
You don't need approval.
You don't need approval. Like just reading Vanessa's comment here, she said, Terry, you tapped into my thoughts. I said in my head while watching you guys, I'm just trying to heal myself first before I can help others. Well, that is funny. But you can help others while you're working on yourself as well.
Mhm.
I mean, it's a true lesson of Reiki 1, right? So Reiki 1 is goal is to help you heal yourself, but doesn't mean you can't help other people while you're doing it. So, yeah, don't put limitations on yourself. So just
Yeah.
go do it.
Right.
But,
So,
yeah.
so finding your path and kind of finding your gifts, and when you find them and you're like, okay, this is working really well. I'm really able to get into this, and it's actually creating results. Whether it's going through and touching things or seeing things or whatever it is, then the important part is to kind of set up, well, what is my rule set, or what does my conscience say about how I can use this? What, and making sure to clear out all the stuff that we've been indoctrinated with first, and then figuring out who you as a person feel like you could do with it.
Mm-hmm.
you
Yeah, I agree. And
Yeah.
I think I think people should just practice these. I mean, I do this class. Oh, well, I've done it once. So I'm going to do it again next month. And, I can take this online. I don't know how, well, there'll be a test for me as well to learn how to work the energy with other people online. So,
The energy of the internet, the energy of technology,
yes,
circuit boards and motherboards
all
and
those
memory chips,
things.
and
Yes. So maybe that is an absolute thing that we do next month.
yeah,
So
we can
Claire's
definitely give
online,
that a shot.
right?
All right, so before we head into the next hour here, just again some reminders. We're in Wausau tomorrow, um, at the Holiday Inn, Wausau Rothschild. So jump in the car and take a road trip and come see us, and we'll sign autographs or whatever you want. You know.
You can get your picture taken with Danny in his hat.
Yep, my Mad Hatter hat. I absolutely love the thing. When we were down or down or over in Minneapolis,
Yeah.
I got comments on it. I got a lot of clients because they saw me in the hat, and I'm like, this might work. So it really kind of fits me
Oh, yes.
in a way.
Yeah.
So we also ran into some people in Walmart that says, "Hey, you're on that radio show," and just like, wow,
Yeah.
it's really kind of neat to run into people who recognize us from the radio and whatnot.
Well,
So
even at the event on Saturday up at Art on the Edge up in, where were we? Linden Hills.
yeah,
And we would get people walking by and go, "Oh, there's Soul and Synergy."
yeah,
Like,
and we're over in Minneapolis, and you know us.
yeah, we're getting recognized. That's really cool. It was a street show.
Yeah,
It was really nice. So, yeah, we don't
yeah.
do many of those, but we do enjoy
It's
it.
a very nice feel good moment
Yeah.
when that kind of a thing happens.
Well, and there's a thing we could talk about for a couple seconds too. So, not a brand new thing, but a thing we've been doing for a little while is working with Kelly from the Edge magazine,
Mhm.
and I think some other people that we work with on WLTK does too, work with them as well. But yeah, this was their event, Art on the Edge, with an art gallery right there on Linden Hills Boulevard. But it's fun, and she's all about moving us around and doing things and helping us out as well. So Art on the Edge magazine is a digital and print. So if you're interested in learning things about what's going on around the area, please go to theedgemagazine.com, and you can see our ads on there, but you can see what other people are doing as well. Shoot, what's the lady's name from Appleton? Bugger. Anyways, a lot of people do things on Zoom and so they put their classes on there and stuff as well. So if there's anything you want to check out, please go look that up. So,
And then also I want to plug before Terry exits stage right for my orchestra tarot deck. We're starting the Kickstarter next week on Kickstarter.com to promote my new tarot deck. So if you're interested in seeing a little preview of it, go to orchestratarot.com and you'll be able to see that. And I do provide updates, and we'll be providing updates during the Kickstarter campaign just to see how that'll work for me. And see where that's going to go. Because I'm really proud of it, and it's a wonderful thing. And I'm working on a book and getting that all ready to be stitched up and sent off for printing. So give that a shout out too. But then also SoulandSynergyRetail.com, our online store. And we do have shop pay installments now. So if you spend more than $50, and if you want to go all out, you get up, if you qualify, you get 6 months or 12 months of payments. So if you decide you want 10, 20 different things, now you can go on a payment plan.
Yeah.
So it's a really great thing as well.
Melanie.
No!
Yeah.
Oh, she's holding out for payroll deduction. Yeah, we can do a monthly fee for that too, I guess. But yeah, so that's one of the neat things about working with Shopify is that we get the ability to give our customers a payment plan should they want to buy a lot of stuff now and that they need. So
yeah, and I mean I do a layaway here too as well, but I keep it if I do layaway. You get to keep it if you do shop pay. So
yeah, so it's really neat.
Right.
And then what else? I think that's about all the big announcements for us.
I think, well, if anybody's interested in taking Danny's tarot classes, we're going to be scheduling those in September. So maybe do a basic tarot again in August and then start the series in September again. So
probably a basic in August and then my masterclass, the 8-week masterclass in September. Getting a lot of questions about that to get that started and moving. So
yeah. So
all right,
y'all, you have fun. I will see you in an hour. And to everyone out there, thank you so much for supporting us, and see you next week.
See you next week, Terry. So, well, actually, I'll see you in an hour, but we'll see they'll see you again next week. We'll be right back with Patty Q.
Bye, guys.
Download the new station calendar and never miss another show. To get it is simple and free. Just visit WLTK-DB.com to download or tap the subscribe button on our mobile app. Once the file is in your downloads folder, just double-click it, authorize it to your calendar, and boom, you have every show listed. Not only does it list the shows, but also the links to watch them live. We would like to thank Danny Loosemore for developing this for us and hope you enjoy it as much as we do. Get yours now at WLTK-DB.com or just click subscribe on our mobile app. See you at the shows. Put the power of this station in the palm of your hand and download our mobile app. Visit the App Store, Google Play, and search for WLTK-DB Talk Radio and download the app for free. Listen to past shows, download our station calendar right to yours, and even shop the WLTK-DB Talk Radio mobile app. Now available on the App Store and Google Play. Download yours now.
Welcome back, everyone, to Soul and Synergy Radio, and I'm here with Patty Q.
Hello, everybody.
For Patty Q's Power Hour.
Power Hour.
Yes. So thank you for sticking with us, and we'll see where this hour gets us. And this is the part of the show, if you read the summary anyway, where we're going to be talking about guided thought and how to use the thoughts that are guided in our mind and not to go nuts.
That would be the underlying message. Do not go nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I know it's hard.
All right.
It's hard.
So
Okay, then, when I was sitting with these topics, I'm always with my spiritual people they give me guided thought all the time.
yeah.
But like when it's a topic like this, where it's important that you explain yourself in a way that people understand, is exactly how I roll. It's how you roll. And I wasn't nervous about it as much as I was really thinking deep. And they go, you don't have to even do that. Guided thought is merely I approve of who you are through spirit, and spirit says, we've got you. We will guide your thought. We will guide your promise. And I think we don't use words enough like promise. So when I write stories or when I am thinking about things, the word promise is like that unsaid word, which means that no matter where you are or how you want to link to your gift, there is a promise there that they will help, that they will give you what it is you're looking for. So then there's this other underlying thing, like, how do I know? How do you know that promise is legit, right? When I was a teenager, I always thought that I knew best.
No.
And that still is kind of the fact, but
Isn't it, though?
But really, when we are young, that attitude about, well, I don't need to listen to that because I know who I am. I know who I am, said with confidence and cockiness, probably.
Yes, much.
Well, it's the same thing. So if you take that feeling of youth and that feeling of air and you put it towards who you are today and what it is you're looking for, it is no different. So you're putting yourself out in a way that we have to trust what we get back is true. So in our youth, we gained confidence. We lose confidence when we grow older because things just didn't go your way, or life just kind of sucks. So then when you approach guided thought, who are you? Who are you before you're receiving information? So it's like it is a promise that you will receive information that is correct and guided. But in order to do that, you have to follow your heart. You have to follow who you are. You have to know who you are. And we say this all the time. So when people are looking to grow in their own self, you have to start by knowing yourself and how much you can take. So guided thought clearly says, okay, so Danny, you're just beginning on your journey. We get you, we understand you, but before we do the fun stuff, you have to allow for some of the not so fun stuff.
Screw that.
Yeah, right? Because you're youthful. I know. Screw that, right? So the promise is that no matter where you are in life, they're going to use your confidence barrier somewhere in your life that you obtain confidence. And then they use it to push through your passive or your quiet moment, and they break that barrier just like that. They march right through. And in that moment, like, you have no choice. You just have to follow, and then you trust. So they're not making anything up. They're not putting you in a place that is wrong, but your natural instincts to move with something that you're asking for has to start from confidence. So if you've not had confidence, so like if it were me, I have no confidence, Danny. I can't sit next to you and talk because I have no confidence.
Oh,
well,
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, me too. So that's no fun.
Yeah.
So then you would never leave your house. So you have to march forward with yourself to gain your own self-worth, right? Okay. So now, say we're all about guided thought. Guided thought gives you information that you're looking for to obtain more confidence in, say, a gift, tarot cards or readings or Reiki sessions. But in order to push yourself to that professionalism, that piece where you can truly put yourself out there, is guided thought. So angelic beings always give us symbols for this kind of stuff. So whether you're a really happy, wonderful, go-lucky kind of person, or you're the dregs of society, doesn't matter. Everyone gets the same package. Everyone gets those symbols. So now that we're in a place in our life where we want more, I really want to know why I'm experiencing these visions, and I want to know what they mean. Well, you have to start somewhere. You have to push past your day-to-day. And guided thought reminds us how good we are already in life, because we're living. We have the capacity to earn money, or even the capacity to be a couch potato,
Right.
24/7. Okay, but we are living. The living actually puts us ahead of those that are not living.
Yeah.
Those that are not living and breathing would be
Yeah.
dead people, I guess. So before we can hear that side of guided thought, we have to hear first the audible guided thoughts, the things that we know here today. So when Danny was a young man and he always had to feel confident and grow in life and be this kind of person.
You obviously didn't know me.
Yeah, right? It's the same thing that he does today, except he does it probably better or louder in Danny kind of way.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm all kinds of special.
Right.
Yeah.
So your guided thoughts in this life have brought you to this point today.
And our audience to where they're at.
Exactly. So all of the things that we touch or we sit with are guided thought. It doesn't have to be specific to reads or specific to. When you put your hands on a plant, you have that beautiful plant in your hand and you're like, I just love this little guy. I want him to live because I don't keep things alive very well that are green. So I just purposely say, I want this to live. And, there's a feeling that kind of bounces off of you and goes out into the living room. And then you're like, okay, I guess this little guy's going to live. So there's all these things that we touch. Okay, so say to me something that I have never heard.
Something you've never heard?
Yeah, never heard.
Let's see.
Anything.
Anything?
Anything.
Anything.
I've never heard.
That you've never heard. How about something from anatomy?
Oh, geez. Okay.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay. The hyoid bone is the only bone in the body not attached to another one. It free floats in your throat.
Okay, so what's going to happen here is this time where there should be an awkward silence, right? Because I have no idea what he just said.
No.
But if it mattered to me enough,
that's what your tongue's attached to.
So I can wag my tongue.
Yes, right.
It matters if I were to say to you in 5 days, I want to study up on what all that meant.
Yeah.
Well, it takes the fun out of it.
Yeah.
Because you know things that I don't know.
Well, vice versa.
Exactly. So the whatever that was called,
the hyoid bone.
Thank you. It could enter as part of my language, my vocabulary. I could just bounce out of here today and say, guess what I learned today? And that is guided thought, because guided thought is given for things that you've never heard.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you something you've never heard.
Oh, shit.
Okay. I can eat ice cream upside down.
I never know if you're lying to me or not anymore. You lied to me once. You can eat
So now you have this image of me upside
Yes,
down
I do.
eating ice cream.
Right.
Well, I don't do that, but it's something you've never heard.
Yes.
So even though that is really a silly guided thought, I was asking for something that would make him not know what to say. Kind of like, oh crap, is she lying to me? Well, okay, so now let's bring it back to your abilities. Everybody who's listening to this stream are wanting some identifiable pieces that start setting them apart from their usual.
Right.
So everyone out there, you go, I really want something out of this broadcast that says that what I do matters, but what I'm thinking is natural. So guided thought is very, very natural order. It's not man-made. It's very angelically given. The beings of that act are the ones that guide it through our mind's eye, and we sit and think about it, and we're like, either, yeah, I was expecting that, or, oh my God, I've never heard that before. And if it's something that resonates down deep, well, heck yeah, you're all in. Then you want, yes, I want to know more about that. But innately in your intuition, it is already answering for you. It is already piecing information that will come. Okay.
And one of the greatest things, and I think it's just because I have no off valve, is that as I'm going through and trying to figure stuff out, the answers are just coming to me on how to do it.
Right.
It's just, it just flows. It's like, I want to say this, there it goes.
Yep.
You know, and you just allow that knowledge to flow through you and get things done the way you want to.
And think about this, Danny, Mr. Danny. All the years you've been alive, all the years I've been alive, we've been hearing guided thought through every second we breathe. So today's show was prepared already before we even said it out loud. And the words that are being heard were exactly the method to which they use our tools to give them answers, to give everyone who's listening answers. And that is so guided thought right there.
Yeah.
And when you sit with the biggest, scariest mess before you, whether it's your husband or it's, no, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Or if it's like a spiritual being you can see in your mind's eye and you want to know what that's all about, guided thought.
I think in one of the ways guided thought has helped me in my life, kind of like I was saying how the answers would come through, is that I was a risk manager for about 10 years as part of my career path. And risk management is about patient safety and insurance and workers' comp and all that fun stuff. And trying to avoid errors before they happen, where you kind of do a risk analysis to say, okay, what are the 10 different ways that this can fail? And I was just so good at just seeing how this process could possibly fail so someone would get hurt. Yeah. And then putting in things in place to fix those things before that ever got to a patient or something. And I think that guided thought is really important in that way, because they can help and say, did you look at it this way? Did you look at it that way? And
so guided thought through your day job or your night job, whatever. But you're absolutely right. Everything we do. And it can be as I'm going to wear this shirt today, but my intention is to be good with the environment and not feel uncomfortable. So really, literally, some of my people say, maybe not, because you're going to get too hot or whatever. Yeah. But it's important to realize who you are yourself so that they can speak with you. And it's always guided thought, but then it's always more.
But I think guided thought also, as part of their process, makes you think things that are uncomfortable.
Absolutely.
That makes you think things that are hurtful or that your body can't sit with it very well. And I think it's just to make you immune to it or numb to it, that you've thought about something so many times, it no longer hurts you or makes you feel bad or anything like that. And then it just passes through and you don't even recognize it anymore.
Yep. It's because you're at a leveling system that is properly receiving information that you want to speak to, but you don't want to keep.
Mm-hmm.
So it fluidly flows through. So, Melanie, what is an example of unguided thought? Ego. That's a good.
Unguided thought. I think for me, if you were receiving a guided thought of, how is it? I better make sure, or to double check the door that I locked it, or something like that. And your reaction to that thought is the unguided thought. That your reaction is, oh, I for sure did that, and then you come home and you find out that, oh, someone's been in the house. But I think the reaction to a guided thought may be an unguided thought. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, okay, so in the context of guided thought, it truly is through a system. It's through like threaded system. So the unseen are always connected with everything we do. I do agree that ego is not a guided goal.
Yeah.
Because we as people take things too much to heart or too much to sit with,
Too personally.
and it causes the opposite effect.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, Melanie, and thanks for saying that, because there are things that are unguided, but if you want to do spiritual work, ego is not involved.
Yeah.
So you can compare guided thought to driving down the road and asking spirit to guide me around construction so I can get to work faster. Well, it might not work like that.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to really kind of own who you are first and own your expectations.
Right.
So if there was a book in front of me that said, on this page lists all the things that guided thought can be useful for, the page would be blank, absolutely blank, because you can never ever push an angelic message into a place that is for ego. I want to write a book about just this. Well, that's not the intent. So when you then take that same book and start writing about your experiences with guided thought, sure, that's kind of the same as ego, but yet to a smaller extent.
Right.
All right, so now I want to say this too. Okay, could you say that guided thought is your intuition? Intuition is definitely a player in guided thought.
Yeah.
Yes. How big you want that intuition to be, careful there, is exactly how you receive information. You have to put all of yourself in it. And then they build that structure so it's easier and easier.
But guided thought also, if you don't have a good structure, can cause problems.
And it will not stick. Absolutely. But okay, so let me say this out loud. If I were a person that all I did was do readings 24/7, and I never let go of that ability, you lose sight of what it was there for to begin with. So guided thought also says, stop. You need to find yourself back again. And so when you believe that you have something so wonderful and beautiful, you have to be honest to say that you cannot eat and breathe it 24/7, because
Obsession.
they will pull the plug for you to catch your breath. They will do that.
Because some people are so driven to master something
that they believe everything they hear.
Right.
And if you sit and study every last bit, you will never leave your house.
Right.
Yeah. And it's a silly waste of time, because that's not what it was for.
No.
It's broadband.
Yeah, there you go.
Right?
Broadband.
They want our broadband to be wider.
Yeah.
So that we can have fun with examining things that we never thought of. So say like ghost. Say ghost. Does ghosts have intuition as a ghost?
What?
Does sleep patterns mean that I dream for my own safety, or do I dream for what's coming? But and then
Yeah.
and
Oh,
then
there you go.
and then you go. So then really intuition has to hone that in, and when that doesn't work, spirits do lend a hand.
Yeah. The thing though is that psychologically speaking, the brain always needs a conclusion. It needs an answer. It needs closure. So if a question is going through and you can't come up with an answer, your brain will keep ticking on it till it comes up with a viable answer.
Yeah.
And it has to do with training the brain to say, you know what, there probably isn't one. So let's just let it go.
Realism. So what does realism mean? You could say that realism is a spot in your own psychic self that kind of administers to the right and wrong of what you hear. So your own realism has to be accountable or responsible enough to drag you out of you're taking that sentence way too seriously back to your own reality.
Right.
And when a person believes that they have to understand every last bit is already making them close the door on what it is they asked for. So the meaning behind it is, don't go nuts. Allow for spirit to handle it the way that your pace has been set.
Yes.
And that's everything.
Because when you open up your mind and you start knowing you're getting guided thought, sometimes it's better to be ignorant and not know what's going on. But once you figure out that, you're having thoughts guided to you, and your thoughts in your mind are being guided towards a certain conclusion.
Yep.
That can make you go nuts.
Well, if you take guided thought and think about this, so listeners, someone and every one of you have a psychic ability. Everyone has it. But if yours is above the fray, where you realize that you know more than the average, and you want to start learning from it, guided thought is that psychic eye. Think about that. Everyone talks about the mind's eye. Well, the mind's eye is guided thought. I mean, that's the process. That's the thing that makes it stick. So you can't have one without the other.
Right.
You can't push something away because you think that you know best. Wow. That's never going to work.
It's kind of like having the guided thought to bring this today.
Right.
Did you overanalyze why you needed it? No. You just did it. Yeah.
And I knew Danny would put that stone in his hand today because he likes that one. And then I have other stones here too. And I just travel because I have been asked through spirit to help guide the room in through crystal, through stones. It's also a guided thought. Guided thought is, and I want to say this very simply, is that when you do reading, you could say that a guided thought is the system that we receive information through. To a point, then not. So after doing so many readings, I do realize that I'm on my own. And I hear, so they're not always going to give you guided thought in this life. If you hit a place where you're doing everything on your own well, they will leave a space for you, but they move on and they go to the next. Yeah.
They say, what is it? I was going to say something very witty, but like the thing on the turkey when it pops.
Yeah.
It's popped now.
You're done.
You're done.
So that's an interesting thing though, Danny. Guided thought is the same mechanism that they will take things out of your head. So like you were just starting to talk and I could tell that there was like this, oh gosh, what was I going to say again?
Yeah.
Happens when I don't need to go on and on about something. And when I'm doing a reading or whatever, a discussion, they remove it. So I can't even remember what I was going to say. And that's what they do. Just, okay, it's time to move on, Patty. Get to the next thing.
Yeah. Right.
So guided thought.
Yeah, they pull the plug and
Mhm.
then you're sitting
Yes.
there going, Yeah, and as long as you train yourself to say, that's the purpose of it,
Yep.
then you just know to very smoothly move on to the next
Yes.
thing.
And I would say, well, apparently I have to move on to the next topic.
Speaking of moving on,
Ah,
we are at the bottom of the hour, so let's take a little break, and then we'll be back with me and Patty.
yay.
Are you looking for unbiased and uncensored paranormal and spiritual talk? At WLTK-DB.com, we offer several talk shows ranging from self-care to hauntings and everything in between. Find the shows and hosts on our website at WLTK-DB.com. You can watch them live or catch up on your latest favorites. While you're there, be sure to check out the store and pick up some of the latest station swag. Did you know we had a station blog, or that you can host your own show? It's all online at WLTK-DB.com. Looking to advertise? Check out our competitive pricing and let's get you noticed. WLTK Talk Radio has something for everyone. So be sure to stop by and say hello at WLTK-DB.com.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Soul and Synergy Radio. I'm here with Patty Q, and today we're talking about guided thought and what happens next. As you gave me one of these icebreaker sours.
They're so sour. If you see our faces go.
Holy crap.
Sorry about that.
Anyway.
So guided thought is actually a tool.
A springboard.
That is used to gain your confidence.
Mm-hmm.
So your abilities are to understand messages that are coming to you.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to start building your awareness. It's such an easy word to say, but it is so hard to be aware.
Mm-hmm.
It hurts.
Mm-hmm.
Guided thought already has structured our mind's eye in a way that it prepares us for that awareness phase.
Mm-hmm.
In the broadened,
Mm-hmm.
widest possible scenario.
Mm-hmm.
When you focus on a topic, when you give yourself latitude to receive information, you're also giving that approval of, yes, I will. So your I will is something then that angelic beings and spiritual guides, advisors, gatekeepers, all of them take and run with it. You have said it, and it might only have been this much of your awareness, like, yeah, okay, and they just go nuts.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things that I found very harsh
Mm-hmm.
was the sound that they make when you're first learning to be aware is kind of creepy. So when you are being asked to approve of systems that will allow you to understand more, they start with the worst and then they go to the best. So why do they do that? Well, obviously, you have to have skin in the game.
Because their name is Richard.
Yeah. That's another story. When you've been close to someone for too long now. Yes. So in that vein, Richard has a possibility of opening his mind's eye. Do you think Richard will do that with all the nonsense that he thinks it brings?
Yes.
Why? What's in it for him?
to learn?
Well, it hurts a lot, and
Mhm.
it feels like it's taking his life away.
Mhm.
Do you think that pain is a part of growth? Do you think that it's unnecessary?
I think it's taught to us that it is part of growth, but is it necessary?
That's a great question. I don't approve of how I receive messages. I've never approved of how, and I've made myself very clear.
Mm-hmm.
So I've created symbols and designs for people. So in readings, I give everything,
Mhm.
hoping for the ease of receiving information. Quite frankly, they pull out the big guns in the beginning, so you know what you're up against. They want you to be upfront about the guided thoughtfulness or the harsher reality of
Mhm.
what it is you are asking for.
Mhm.
Let's be real. When you put yourself in a way that is psychically inclined and you want to know everything there is, which is very natural, there are things that people never thought was involved in that. So they want you to get this big download right up front,
Mhm.
so that you're, okay, this is gross, this is and okay, I can do that, but and you do this checklist of sorts, and then they push you forward, and you are hoping that you have some braveness inside of courage or something, but yet it gets easier and easier, and before you know it, the things that you thought were scary or creepy are not.
Mhm.
And if we use Richard as an example,
Mhm.
we're going to say that Richard then stands in the middle of a room of spiritual beings who are all talking very loud. And the guided thought, there is no guided thought because it's just slamming against your brain, right?
Mhm.
How can you find normalcy in that? What does Richard do?
In that case,
Yeah.
for myself,
No, I'm talking about Richard.
for Richard, what should he do?
Run?
No. I think the best way to deal with that is not to grab onto any of the thoughts and just let them pass through.
That's exactly it.
Don't place meaning on it
Right.
if it doesn't feel like it means anything to you.
How long has that answer been percolating in you? Since birth?
14,
Because it's true.
1492.
Because
No, Richard is not a unicorn, Courtney. I just want to make that very clear. Okay.
your reasoning to sit in the middle of chaos is to cope.
Mhm.
And by being there, Richard has already traveled a long way to get there.
Mhm.
So it's not like they're going to throw you in the next week. You have to really earn your way to stand there. So guided thought at that point, no, there is no guided thought.
No.
You have to figure it out. You have to figure it out.
Yeah. It's almost like you have to get to a point where, or I would tell Richard to just feel your consciousness step back, and then you're watching the thoughts like traffic on a road, and then you're not standing in the middle of the road getting hit by them.
Right.
You're just on the sidewalk and you're just watching them go by.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the best way to save yourself from
Mm-hmm.
the overwhelming feeling of getting all that information all at once.
I have said things like that do hurt your physical body,
Mm-hmm.
because everything is on. Your senses are asking to be
Hypervigilance.
Yep. It's
Anxiety.
everybody can do it, but I don't think some people should. Quite a lot of people should, because it can take the rest of your life. And for what reason? Then you're at the end of your life going, I should have done that differently.
Yeah.
So be honest with yourself. Be that truth, that your own beacon about like who am I,
Mm-hmm.
and do it on your time. Do it on, and be realistic.
Mm-hmm.
I'm no better than I was the day I was born. I'm just understanding what I was given.
Mm-hmm.
And so the parallel is very, very even.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not better than anything that I've heard. Angelically, you would think that my head says, ooh, angel, and kind of like, bow at the presence of, and I should, but I don't.
Mm-hmm.
Because they teach us to always be at a leveling playing field with everything we do.
Right.
Because then there really is no ego.
Mm-hmm.
And it's easier for guided thought to reach us.
And the way I think that you have overcome ego is that you have no desire to worship anything. You have no desire to look at something as being better than you are.
Absolutely.
And when you've gotten over ego,
absolutely,
you've decided that I'm an equal.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And you no longer feel that push like ego does, like, I have to bow down, I have to do this, I have to be regimented. Once ego is gone, and you feel like you don't have to worship anything anymore, that's the ticket.
Well, and this could be another show, but the word worship is you will never understand. That word is not in angelic tongue,
Mm-hmm.
and that's totally another.
Mm-hmm.
That's another broadcast entirely. But the way we learn through the gifts of angelic beings, through the thoroughness of spirits, give us the breath of ease,
Mm-hmm.
so that we can understand what we have, but also be real and also like want to live. I mean, I want to go for a walk, or I want to not,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you don't always have to be on.
Yeah, I want to do more than just think.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
When message comes through, and say you've been accomplishing levels of, integrity, of thoroughness, of relaxation while you're receiving, or competency, your inner thoughts are felt with everything that you are asked to understand. And the minute that you say, I'm good, I mean, it's not that they leave as much as they just give us our space a little bit so that we can actually live and
Mm-hmm.
go get some ice cream or whatever.
Right.
But because we are alive,
Mm-hmm.
we are people, but we're trying to be real
Mm-hmm.
with ourselves.
Right.
Mhm.
When you can have fun.
Fun. Yeah. And this, just sitting talking about this is so fun, because everybody that's listening, like I said, has a purpose for tuning in to think about something either they haven't, or wanting answers. Everything is within reach. So everything that you can possibly think of
Mm-hmm.
is within your grasp to do
Mhm.
so.
Yeah.
No matter how crazy or weird, you'll get your answer.
Right.
Mhm.
And I also think, I was just getting it. It's like, you've kind of reached a good point when you no longer need to know why.
Wow. You've been listening lately.
Mm-hmm. When you no longer need to know why.
Yeah. It's very, very thoughtful.
Mm-hmm.
That's very good. It's very, very good. When you're on track for,
You don't need to know why, because you know.
and you don't have to have guided thought. So you're kind of in that knowing spot, and there's no need to send information like there once was.
Mm-hmm.
There's no need for, we can take ourselves to the highest height that we can
Mm-hmm.
and know that we're okay.
No longer the need to be validated,
Mhm. Mhm.
like you're parking. It's just, you don't need validation anymore.
Mhm.
You don't need permission. You don't need any of those things. You've reached, I guess you would say, almost enlightenment, when
Yeah.
you don't need
Yeah.
permission to exist.
Well, and now let's say that we're all starting out the chutes. We're teenagers, and we are changing. Our bodies are changing. Our minds are full of stupid stuff anyway.
Well, that's
right.
Yeah.
But even at that time in our lives, we held on to that knowing just like we do today, because that's how we're built. We fill it in, and we are aware when we grow with it, but it's the same thing.
But I think guided thought plays a role in the hormonal teenage years.
Oh, sure.
Because they're guiding thoughts to you to develop your character. They give
Absolutely.
you 5 different ways to say,
Yep.
okay, you're presented with this thing that you want. Are you going to steal it? Are you going to earn it? Are you going to save for it? Or, and you're given all these thoughts to do. And then depending on the thought that you select, helps you to define the character of who you are.
And while you're doing that, because it matters, it has to stick.
Mm-hmm.
It has to stay within your own storage to then reopen or recall information when you need it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to ask Danny a question. Danny, do you believe that there was a watchful eye for you when you were a teenager? Like a watchful eye through, just say that there is like this guy standing in the field and you know that he's there, and it's you're not creeped out.
I was going to say it's creepy.
But you're not creeped out, and you're just like wondering what, and you know that he's
like the
there.
Secret Service.
Right. So what would you do with that? And you're a teenager now.
Okay.
Richard.
Okay.
So you're a teenager, and you know there's this man standing in the field, and he doesn't audibly talk. He doesn't move. He just stands there and watches. And it's not a real person, like living person. We're talking a spiritual being.
I guess if I had gotten to the point where I decided in my mind that it was not a threat, I would just let it go.
Okay. So then you would move about your day-to-day, do your quirky things, whatever it is you do as a teenager, and that guy never leaves.
I probably wave and blow kisses every now and then, but
Okay. Maybe he would do it back. I don't know. But the reason for it is stability. So every psychic human being has or are obligated to experience something in their early years that would freak them out or stabilize who they are.
Mm-hmm.
So a spiritual being standing there, I had that guy.
Mm-hmm.
And years and years, I now call him Doc. His name is Doc.
Okay.
And he's very much part of my fluid information. But at that time, as a teenager, the purpose of this is to understand you're always being tweaked.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say tested, but you're always being held accountable, but then they push the envelope. They make you see something that you have never experienced. And they take that moment and they stretch it to see how much more you can take. And that broadband is exactly what they use for the rest of your life. So then you either then decide as you grow older, no, thank you. I'm fine. And you keep a psychic motion, but you don't enter into anything above it, so that you don't say that I'm going to open up shop because you can hear ghosts. I mean, there's millions and millions of levels that people take it and see how high they can take it.
Right. But do you think we have to specialize in any one thing? Is it like if you, like for you, if your readings and all of that, do you think that that's your lot in life then, or are we allowed to expand and create a menu of options of things we can do?
Right. No. And it should be a yes, but it's not. While you train yourself to be stable with one thing, which actually turns out to be a million things, but you're just not totally aware of that yet, you've already signed on to things that you aren't aware of until it shows itself. And then you're like, okay.
Mhm.
There is a piece of me that says, I don't know if I can say no, but I know I will. It's just not yet.
Mhm.
I mean, I do tell people I'm going to live to be 150, so I have to have stuff to do, right?
Well, there's plenty of references in some religious texts where people live to be 900.
Okay.
So
There you go.
I'm going for
We're
it.
going. See you there.
Mhm. Right.
So then, okay, so on the flip side of all this, is it dangerous? Is it dangerous to want something that you feel uneasy about? Am I supposed to feel uneasy about it? Am I supposed to like want this? Like your own, they use the word temperament,
Mhm.
but they say temper. My temper actually is my gauge to call it what it is, and say, you should have told me that when I was 2,
Yeah.
but that's not what they do.
Mhm.
You have to, I guess, promise yourself that you know when it's done.
Mhm.
All right. So if I said to Danny, Danny, I want to go swimming today. Let's go swimming.
Okay.
All right. Do you got a suit?
Yeah.
You do?
Mhm.
Oh, cool. Do you have one for me?
Sure, because I tested out for you before. It's very slimming. Very slimming.
Oh, see, he knows me so well. So the reason for it is that I just put him in a spot where he could have felt uncomfortable. And he could have said, no, I don't have a suit for you. And then I would say, well, then I might as well just strip naked and I'm just going to go swimming in the public pool. Well, there is an issue, right?
Yeah.
So just when you think you have things figured out.
Well, at least in America, yeah.
Well, you can never possibly imagine all the scenarios for one answer.
Mhm.
There's a million.
But you try.
I know. But you know
Yeah.
what? After a while, you go, geez, I got things to do. I don't need to do that anymore.
Courtney. Make sure it's a thong.
For him or me? Ooh.
Oh.
Ooh. Yeah. Okay. So the next caveat of that is, so if we think we're all that and we can obtain so much information, well, what is the ultimate end? Why? What is this all about?
I have an opinion. We're just gathering data.
Okay.
We're just gathering information for whatever source is, and it's just this thing that just wants to know as much as it can possibly know about everything.
Okay.
So we're just kind of out there, experiencing life and bringing it back and going, oh, that's never been experienced before. Thanks for that. And then you go back and do it again.
So do you think that that's what everybody thinks?
No.
Do you think Richard thinks about that?
No.
Yeah, right.
Richard could care less.
Right. So there's sorry guys. Really, sorry about that. So we all take what we need and we take it the way it was meant to be, not to make us into some sort of like God or not to. By the way, I'm thinking that living people believe that they can be a God if they understand it all. I'm sure it's there. But the purpose of why I said it is that after a while you go numb to it because you want to know, but whenever am I going to use that information? Why do I need to know that a volcano is going to separate in the year 4,500 and it's
what am I going to do with that?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Or if they give you information that is uncomfortable, they want you to be truthfully honest. I guess we shouldn't do that anymore. And they're okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
And I always talk they.
I say they too.
So I've always said that when Danny and I do something like this, that there should be a being that shows itself right here between us. So I asked for it. So if ever anybody sees
something behind us
Yeah.
laughing, and not my picture from when I was 18.
Oh yeah, see
Yeah,
that
yeah.
right there. Can't do this right there.
Yeah.
So this is why I said it. If you want to understand the unseens and the unknowns, open your mind's eye, because it's probably one day going to be right here between
Mhm.
Danny and I.
And it's gonna whisper in your ear and say, see, I told you so.
It's not so hard, is
It's not
it?
so hard.
Yeah.
You're making it difficult.
Simplicity.
Yeah.
And then they just stand there and go, okay, whatever.
Yeah. All I know is that I am an experiment gone wrong.
So you say it should have stopped years ago?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh,
I
that
don't-
doesn't feel good. I
no.
couldn't say that.
No.
No.
But anywho,
So
we're hitting the end of the show here. Just want to put a shout out for Patty. If you would like a personal reading with Patty, email her at patty@pattyq.com, and she will get back to you to arrange a reading or what have you, either in person or over you do Zoom.
I do Zoom.
Zoom, online or on the phone.
I am a Zoomer.
So we can do that. We still have things here that we are doing with her as well. And as she she also works in Whitehall.
Yep, I do readings in Whitehall. It's where I grew up.
And
I've been in Pepin.
Okay.
I'm starting to gather groups for a day, and I'll go anywhere if I can drive there.
Yeah.
And I will be in Wausau tomorrow.
Yep.
So do readings there. Looking forward to that.
And you'll be in Grand Rapids, Minnesota with us.
Yes, I will.
And other shows as well.
Mm-hmm.
So we all all hang out together all the time.
Yeah. Our mojo is kind of this meshing of everything that everybody is.
Yeah.
And it just is fun.
Yeah. Half the fun to living is figuring out why. But then when you realize that, I don't have to know why, that's when you really start to live.
So I too have always wanted to levitate.
Yes.
Someone said that earlier.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm like, when I sit on the floor doing readings, wouldn't that be cool if I just started to rise off the floor?
Yeah. I mean, if I could actually cross my legs again, and just kind of do the Om and kind of float in the air.
So so my test is I put a dime on the floor when I'm doing a reading.
Mm-hmm.
And if that dime floats, I should be able to float.
Then you should be able to do it too. Yes, So, all right, everyone. We've had a really wonderful show today, talking about finding your gifts and and working with them, and talking about how the thoughts work in our minds and what to do with them. So thank you, everybody, for joining us, and we will see you next week. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
The truth is here and now on WLTK-DB Talk Radio at WLTK-DB.com.